Taylor, joined as always by my partner in crime, Mr. Jason Gowden. How are you, brother?
James, how are you, sir?
I'm good. Anyone who wonders why we do that, it's a Dave Techner reference. Our music's a little jammed up. Maybe we can fade it in. We're working on
a weird delay today. I don't know what's going on with that.
Weird delay. We have a fantastic show tonight. I want to get into it. We have so much to talk about. The inequities of childhood soccer. My school had their giant Irish Catholic festival with amusement rides and games and food booths and stuff that we did. Sugar Ray played. It was super fun. We have an amazing guest tonight. How do we tease it? We don't really need to tease it. We just showed it. You know her from 243 different credits. The Goldbergs, all the Austin Powers. The fantastically hilarious, literally one of the first people I got to see when I moved to LA, crush it at the Groundlings. Mindy Sterling is here tonight. Claire Kramer's here. Kate Mulligan's here. We have a fantastic show. It's our Parental Mental Health Tuesdays.
I need it, man. I need it.
Dude, I was going to say, and we talked earlier today when I go, hey, how you doing? You go, I'm hanging on. And I was like, yeah, I'm miserable.
Do you ever notice on after we haven't talked all weekend, because typically we don't talk much on the weekend, like that first 30 seconds of the Monday call, we just quietly hear each other breathing. It sounds creepy, but it's just, the other person's there for you.
Because of the school festival, my kids had Friday and Monday off. It was after the spring break the week before. So it's been
marathon
pandemic revival tour that I did while I tried to take care of the kids. And I took 8 girls to the movies last night to see the big guys. We'll talk about that as well. It was a good stuff. Hey, thank you to all you guys out there who tune in. And Suge Knight's already here. Genevieve's already here. Your jokes, honestly, it's the fuel that lights our fire for the show. It's so much fun.
And we are live, so Mindy will be able to see your questions and comments. So send them on in.
Any questions or comments, please? Also, some of you share it to your page, which is awesome. If you know parents in your group of friends who need a little break, like the rest of us, then please share, subscribe, follow, like, tell us how much you love us. Really quick, before we go to our opening credits, we want to send some love out to our pal Shane Roberts, who watches a lot of times. He's the gentleman with triplets. They are going through some family stuff now. His wife is dealing with some health issues, and we want to send out love. Yeah,
we love you, buddy.
Yeah, that dude's got triplets. So already you feel better about your life. I do. I know. I mean, you have twins. That doesn't trump triplets.
Look, I am literally hanging on by a thread with twins. So I don't know I don't know how he's doing.
Now increase that by 50%. That's triplets, and you're.
Shelter doesn't drink. He told me he doesn't drink. So I don't know what he's doing.
I don't think he could, dude. At that point, I mean, it would be a downward spiral.
They'd overpower him.
Would be. I mean, I don't know, but yeah. So we're sending out love to him and his lovely wife, and positive vibes to you guys. All right, we are going to give you 90 seconds of the two of us singing a hilarious song over some pictures of our kids. It's pretty great. Then we're going to come back, and Mindy Sterling, Claire Kramer, Kate Mulligan are going to come in, and we're going to get some shit off our chest. All right. You ready, Jason?
You know it.
We could have homes on separate coasts, go dive in Greece with squids. Could have been so bleeping rich, but instead we had kids. They won't smile for a photo, they won't eat the food we choose. That's why we're heading to the Parents' Lounge to drown ourselves in booze. Every day we're more exhausted, we haven't slept in years. They hit me in the nuts so bad, my eyes filled up with tears. And he asked we'd like to fake our death and go off of the grids. But the truth is we are softies and we truly love our kids. So join us every Tuesday night to laugh at all our pain. Evening in the Parents' Lounge is the cure to staying sane.
Hello.
Hi. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that for me. I like that.
Cool.
Everybody, Mindy, Kate, Claire. Mindy.
Hi.
I'm welcome.
Mulligan, what's the problem? What happened to your face?
I'm just like so excited to meet her.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah, I'm like, am I playing it cool? Am I playing it cool? Yeah.
No, this is like the opposite of it.
Kate, can I tell you something? Before the show, Mindy was in and we were talking, and I think she threw up a couple times. She was so nervous about meeting you.
I was.
And she assured us that the restraining order she has against you, she's okay with this format for today.
Yeah.
Well, I asked Mindy because I was going through the ridiculous credits, by the way. I honestly, one of the first shows I ever saw when I came to town was the Groundlings, and I was like, oh my God. Because back then, sketch and improv wasn't as, it wasn't on everywhere. Like everyone didn't know it. Now it's like my first grade kid is signing up for like an improv class at their school.
Right.
I love it. A lot of zip zap.
I remember watching you guys on the Groundlings stage, and it would be sketches, and then other nights would be improv, and it was gold. So great, so great.
Well, it's one of my most favorite things to do. I'd much rather do improv than anything with script, because it's so much freer and you don't have to memorize anything. And, so much better.
So funny. And also, Mindy asked me, I said, hey, how do you want me to introduce you? And she said, can you introduce me as Max's mom? Because that's really what I am. And
okay,
it's really
this is Max when he was teeny tiny. Okay. Oh. And Max is 27 years old, and I will have him come in at some point and show his face, because we are incredibly connected, whether it be with love or wanting to kill each other and calling each other horrible names. See, you can do that when you're an older kid. You can say things, that are just like, oh my God. And we know that, later on at night, he'll come out and go, how you doing, Mom? Sorry. And then I'll say, I'm sorry. So, that's the fun thing.
Hannah just did that literally before the show.
Really?
We had a melt. Yeah, we had a 4-day weekend. She didn't want to go back to school today. And yesterday she
said horrible things about you, Mindy. It was unbelievable.
Horrible things about
I don't blame her.
Dude, so we worked this crazy festival all weekend. I was exhausted. We're in the pool yesterday. She keeps squirting me in the face with one of those little.
Oh, no, that's not okay.
And I kept losing it. I was like losing my mind. And I said, hey, I have contacts. Stop squirting me in the face. And she kept doing it. I finally pulled it out of her hand and I went, smash! Smash! I broke it into
you broke it?
Oh, I shattered.
He did.
Also not okay.
You couldn't say time out, get out?
I had a moment. I'm telling you, I had to go back. I went to her later and said, hey, I'm really sorry about that. I melted down. She kept shooting me in the eye, and I just shattered it.
Yeah.
And then she told me after she goes,
go to the very end.
All my tickets to get that. She got it at the festival. She turned her tickets in to get that. And I was like,
that was $83 worth of tickets, Jamie. You were so careless with it.
So she had a crappy morning, and I felt so bad that she was like, she just couldn't get up and get to school this morning, that I made her crepes and I brought them for lunch. I drove over.
Oh, you brought them to school?
I showed
what
up.
an amazing daddy.
No, it was guilt. It was pure guilt. I was
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter you did that.
Well, how when you say, like, we all say we say horrible things to our kids, but can you remember specific things you've said?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of cursing.
Oh, you can curse on this show. That's why we have Kate.
We talked about that.
A lot of like, fuck you, but it's usually he'll say it first. And I think the first time that he ever said to me, because first of all, Max was adopted, So I got him at birth. I was in the room. I got to see him, you know, my child come out. And so I got just a very different, wonderful way of, you know, end up having Max. And so I think there was one time we were arguing about something, and correct me if I'm wrong, Max, but I think he said something, "You're not my real mother." And you do? Oh, he doesn't remember. Oh, yeah, I do. And it was just like, but there was a part of me that was like that, and a part of me was, oh, I'm the best mother you will ever have. And knowing where he came from, the situation, and believe me, and he will say to this day, you know, he's very glad that I am his mom. But it's, you know, I think it's those kind of things. And, you know, and as you get older with, you know, when he gets older and I get old, you just fight about a lot of different stuff. You know, I mean, whether it be I went through menopause, whether it be I'm just older, I don't remember everything, you know, so it is different than having a young child. And believe me, I had that too. And he was awesome as a young child. He was the best baby.
So what you're telling us is there's still a chance that every single one of our kids is going to take a left turn in about 10 years.
Cool. What are you talking about? Mine took the left turn right out of the womb.
I know, that's true.
No, Max, I think that Max was just one of those kids where he was always happy. This is before he went to school.
Yes.
But he was always happy. He was just giggled. I mean, there was just this, I couldn't wait until he woke up in the morning. And, you know, I mean, all this, like the preciousness of what's going on. And then we ended up finding out that Max was on the autistic spectrum. So now you have a child that has some, you know, special needs that we didn't really know until right before he went into the first grade. So now we're dealing with all of that. And when I say we, it was my ex-husband. And so there's still a lot of different stuff that we have to work through, and including myself. I don't know everything. Sometimes I act like a little brat as well. And but there's also this amazing thing that he is gifted with that I get to share, and I get to we talk through it, and he's just so bright and blah blah. But as a kid, you know, like when your kids, they're maybe not right up at where they should be, and you go, oh, we just thought it was cute. You know, they couldn't talk, or that,
yeah,
you know, or that he sat on someone in a classroom because he didn't have a spatial. He didn't know his spatial, thing, and so you think those kind of cute things.
Were there any indicators like super young where you're like, or just you think it was super cute? And you're like my daughter Claire still speaks like a little babyish.
She eats what?
She's got a little bit of a baby speech to her, but it's ridiculously cute. But in the back of our head, we're like, does she need speech therapy? Like, we don't, you know, it's like, I don't know.
I think too, sometimes we waited. Somebody, he was in preschool, and the woman said he wasn't talking. And the girl, one of the teachers, she came up, she goes, I just wanted to tell you something, that kids are making fun of him. He's not talking and blah, blah, blah. And it was just like, oh, we thought it was cute. Mm-hmm. And so we took him to a neurologist who, went through some tests and stuff. And then they said, well, he has something called nonverbal learning disorder. And it was just like, what? Oh. What? You know, but because everything that we saw was really adorable. It just was. It was like, you know, kids cute. And so then we did a lot of research, and you find out about things, and then you get him to school. And then he had an IEP. He had, certain things that he had to do, like at every class. He was taken out for like 20 minutes, and they would work on things and all. So, but it was still cute when they're little. And then you find out, oh, They're teasing him? Really? Which ones?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm gonna need some names.
Yes, really. You're like,
kick some ass.
well, and then, well, like in first grade.
Cut a bitch.
Oh yeah, I mean, and I'm that kind of a mom too. You know, you're like, oh really? Mm-hmm. And so in first grade, I would go pick him up from school every day, and his name would be on the bad list, the bad kid list. And I'd go, what now? Well, he tried to bite someone, or we found out later through all of this, because I would be crying every time I picked him up, that he was at recess. They were making fun of him because he couldn't catch a ball, or he couldn't do this, or he couldn't do that. So the only tools and the only thing that he knew that he could do was, and the teacher never, ever picked up on it. Never. And so we ended up having a psychiatrist come in, or a therapist come in and look at and see what's going on. And she came to me and she said, well, no wonder, Mindy. There's no one out there that is watching these kids, and they're being horrible to him. Ugh. I mean, you know, they don't know any better. This kid, you know, Max was like, you know, he was just kind of like, when we grew up, he was kind of like the nerd or the odd kid that wasn't good, you know, at catching balls or blah, blah, blah. So it was like, it took forever. And I just thought, fuck. I mean, how do you not, as a teacher,
I don't know.
Because he would cry, he would feel horrible whenever he got caught doing. So it's those kind of things you had to watch out for, and you had to, you know, keep in touch with. But it's really hard because kids, everybody's so different, and you know, and you have to be, you know, obviously a parent that you know, will fight for your kid or fight for what kind of program they can have and all of that. The lovely thing about Max is, and you know, he's not because he's my son, but he was always so sweet, and he just didn't understand, and he didn't want to hurt anybody, and he didn't blah blah blah, and like I said, he didn't understand that when everybody sits in a circle, and I'm laughing now, right, Max? Can I laugh? He says you can totally laugh. He would sit on someone because spatially. One time he said, okay, one time only, and that was it. But he didn't know.
There was an accident.
And also too, the fact that he can talk about it now and be okay with it. Like I never ever. I always talk about him. And in the things that we deal with and how sometimes they're difficult, but sometimes they're phenomenal.
Yeah.
And so it's, and I only have one. So yeah, I think having like twins and and other children.
Claire has 4.
Claire has 4.
Claire has 4 in 5 years.
I don't even know how, see, I look at that and go, I don't know how you guys did that. I don't know how you did that. I don't know.
You think you could? Yeah. Do you think you could get that psychiatrist to come visit Claire?
Oh, just Claire.
Just Claire. Just actually visit Claire, honestly, because I don't know what would possess someone to do it.
Claire's made some choices. That's declared.
No, you know what? I have to give you and all mothers. I always feel, you know, so thankful to have been a mom because he was adopted, so I couldn't have children. And, so that's, I'm so grateful for that. But I know what it's like. And for anybody to have more than one is incredible. And the lovely thing for you is when they grow up, you have this family, and you'll get an extended family. You'll have, grandkids and da, 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 da. Max, am I going to have a grandkid? Probably not. Okay, thank you. And Max has also told me, Mom, and you will meet him in a minute. And Max has always told me, Mom, I just want to let you know that when you get older, I will not be able to take care of you. So I go, yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
I love his honesty.
That's great. That's great. By the way, Mindy, I'm not trying to make people on the spectrum a monolith, but have you seen the Netflix show Love on the Spectrum?
I have. Max does not. He doesn't like to
Okay.
see those things, or put himself there. But I found it really lovely and interesting, and I get it, and I, whenever I meet someone who's on the spectrum or Asperger's or whatever, I just feel like I connect a little bit. I'm a little more patient, and I like talking to them. They're so bright and brilliant, and so I have, and
I really feel like that show really helps me understand why it's called a spectrum, because there really is a range. There really is a spectrum of, and it just
there's
seems
so
like
many different. And I'm telling you, Kate, they're all very different. So if somebody else had nonverbal learning disorder, which was Max's label, I met some other kids with nonverbal learning disorder. Very different.
Yeah.
Very different, so they don't, even though they have a list of things that these are the issues that they will have, but they don't always have the same issues. So you have to treat like any human being, you have to treat them differently, or know what their strengths and what their weaknesses are. And, Max had to go, this was even before school, because I was like, I'm paying for this. If no insurance will cover it, blah, blah, blah. But he had to go to, learn his motor skills were very low, and he had to learn certain ways of doing things, and his writing was terrible. He had to get a sort of like a keyboard and do things like this. You have to give them things to certainly, so that they can conquer and that they can feel good and that they're not at the end of the class. And again, keep in mind, we all grew up with, that guy's a nerd, that guy's weird, that guy is, so they didn't have labels then.
Yeah, but then the nerds took over, and that was Bill Gates, and I mean Elon Musk is definitely he's somewhere.
That's what I'm saying, is that these kids are incredibly bright. He tells me things, he has to describe things to me. We're watching something, I'm like, okay, Max, put it on hold. All right, what does this mean? He goes into something that goes so over my head. And I go, all right, let's just put it back on. But they're incredible. He's a great writer. He won't write, but boy, when he writes to me and tells me we have a big fight, and he writes the longest, thing on Facebook, it's like, wow. I
feel like a lot of times that's what makes a lot of great improvisers. I know that they're great writers. They just don't write. They write on stage as it comes out, right? Like you see people writing. You should be writing something. This what you're saying is gold. And but that's, a lot of improvisers are kind of like that,
and they're writing, and because sometimes on the spectrum they have a hard time getting it out and feeling it. They have to put it all together. And like anybody, when you're writing, your mind is working differently. So a lot of people just write better than they can talk. So you catch them with this glorious, like, wow, what he said to me, boy, he nailed me, boy, I'm sorry, you're right. And he's very much an advocate for himself.
It would have driven me crazy because that the teacher didn't notice anything, because I'm going to ask you guys a question. Any class I walk into, I look at the kids, I can immediately tell you, do you ever do this where you just see their future? Like every kid, I'll talk to a kid and I go, damn, that one's not, this one's not going good. This one's going great. That one's not. Like, don't you guys do that when you see kids? You're all nodding.
Absolutely.
Well, and also too, you watch them. I would always volunteer, in a class or somebody else's class. It wasn't always Max's class. And one of the things that Max had a hard time with, he wouldn't make eye contact with you. So if you're in the circle, and he would be like this. And so you can watch the kids that, that may have some difficulty, or especially boys who are so hyperactive. They can't sit still. And they're the ones that get in trouble, because they can't sit still. They're constantly doing things, or, AD. I mean, it's boys, and girls just are like this. And it's such a shame, because you try sitting. I mean, we all did, but it's really hard sitting in a classroom for how many hours? And inside as a boy, you just need to move around. You need to, play. You need to go outside, and and they don't have anything where like, great, let's everybody get up and move around for 10 minutes, and then we can all sit down. Nothing.
What's interesting, Mindy, is I have my 12-year-old is the boy of the girls. So she is exactly like that. She cannot sit still. If she's home, she's a dance. She dances and she does gymnastics, but she is like literally doing like aerials, cartwheels, like dance routines, everything. So, it only was about, I guess this June, it will be 2 years that she started in her like conservatory dance program. And now that she is dancing like 6 to 8 hours a day, it's the only time she's ever been able to sit still in school. And it's starting to help, but I can't tell you how much I was told by, pediatricians or teachers, oh, you need to medicate her, just ADHD. And that may be good for some kids. It was not the right path for her. She was never officially diagnosed, but she has that uncontainable energy that you're referring to that is often seen in boys. And
and that's what they want to do. They want to give them medication as opposed to, wow, how can I? But they're also, teachers are not there to come up with ideas. They're so overworked. Some of them really needed to leave, and
give us names.
It's and all of that. And I remember there was something on the news. This is many, many years ago, and they went to a school, and there was some teacher who literally had everybody get up, walk around, and just get a little active, and then settle down, because it's like doing that a couple of times during class. And for Max, he would just go into his own world, or he would get I think he would see something else, or he was listening, but he always looked like he wasn't. And so then you get in trouble with that, and it's like, look on the fucking IEP. One of the things he has, he won't look at you, but he will hear every word. And they don't always look at that stuff. And, it's very hard. And we didn't want to put him in, I didn't want to put him in, a special school, and I wanted him to be as much as he could without it being really difficult, because life is full of different people. And you want him to learn about how is he going to deal with, when this comes up or when that comes up. And I was so lucky through the whole thing. We had really good occupational therapists that worked with Max, and we loved Max. And like I said, he was always one of their favorites.
For middle and high school.
Yeah.
Oh
wait, come here.
One of the heads in the special ed department.
Okay, wait. Say them. Come here. Say them. This is my son, Max.
Hi, Max. Nice to meet you.
I just wanted to come in and say, in addition to the great occupational therapists, my 8th grade special ed teacher actually became like the head of the special ed in the district for middle and high school. So I had that background too, and she really liked me. And so,
that's amazing.
Awesome. Thank you, Max.
Love it.
I had that little addition because I knew Mom might not remember that.
Mama has a little bit of it. Yeah, she doesn't remember.
Ooh, excellent. I like it.
That's nice to hear, because I think everybody has a teacher or two that they remember very specifically. So, it's so funny because Bezos made $50 billion last year. He didn't work any harder than a 6th grade math teacher at a public school. You know what I mean? Like, it's just insane. And that dude made $32,000 last year, and he's in charge of these 36 kids that are going on in the world. The whole thing's insane to me.
It is really, really all crazy. And
here's a great question from Genevieve. Mindy, how did you manage his expectations in school? That's a great question.
How did I manage his expectations? Max, did you have any expectations?
Expectations as well. I mean, I sit there and go through my kid's grade link, and I go, "Hey, you didn't get 100 on the test?" And I have to stop being so neurotic about it. But how do you manage stuff like that?
No, well, I didn't, and Max didn't. And I think I'll tell you a really good thing that we learned Homework is way too much for kids. The homework that they give your kids, I think, I never did really well in homework, but he struggled so much, not struggled, but he had a hard time in school. And then he would come home and it would be 3 hours of homework. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Well, we stopped that immediately. And they said, you know what? And these were the good teachers, that no, he doesn't have to do 20 problem solving math. We just want to see that he knows how to solve it. If he does 3, that's fine. And that should be for everybody.
Yeah.
I really believe that it's like, you know, it'll get harder as you get older. But when you're that young, to sit there and you know who has to help you? Your parents. To sit there for 3 hours, you guys, to do something that you just did in class. It's for some people, it's just a struggle. And they don't have the IEP. They don't have that support behind them because they don't know. And that's what really would bother me, is when I would see people and see kids that were having a hard time and nobody was in their court, you know, helping out.
It's a great lesson. You know, it's funny. I was reading some article because this year my school, like I went to Boston University. I couldn't get in now. Like the levels to get in are insane now. There was some girl, she had a 1550 on her SATs, 3.98 unweighted, was in every play, student council, did everything, got into no schools. Nobody accepted her because the competition is so off the chart.
But then what are they looking for, Jamie? That's like, how do you better that?
Jamie, don't say it. Jamie, don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it out loud, Jamie. Don't say it out loud. Don't say it, Jamie.
I'm going to say it. I don't know if you think you know what I'm saying, but.
I think she does. Think she does.
Maybe. Here's the other thing. Women, way harder than men. I didn't know that. Way more women apply to college. I didn't know that. And race was involved.
Okay.
Race was definitely involved.
He said it. He said it.
Well, they go down the list of what they're looking for. They are looking very specifically to fill all these categories. And like Harvard,
absolutely,
90,000 kids applied to Harvard or something. 1,800 got in. And you know those 90,000 aren't kids that are just, yeah, let's take a crack. Those were 90,000 kids, maybe 80,000 who really thought, I can get into Harvard. Look at these. Some guidance counselor told them, holy shit, you got a 4.2. There's like thousands of people with 1,600 SATs who don't get into Princeton. Like, it is insane. I went to BU. It was like, this year was 3.95 and like a 1450 SAT, like to get into the school. The competition is so tough. And yeah, race is absolutely involved. There's no two ways about it. And gender is involved. All the different things are involved. And it's part of it.
And you know what? And you know, the other thing is too, when Max got into high school, the discussion about, well, you know, our school's done very well with everybody going to really nice colleges. So what we're doing is here, is we're working towards going to college. And Max was so angry, and he was so pissed off that, you know what? Not everybody wants to go to college. And this is all I hear is, well, if you don't go to college, then you're going to be a nothing.
That's how we grew up.
And that is when I found out about that. There was something that I could say to the woman, but we let Max know, don't worry about that. That is not, and thank God you said it isn't for everyone. There are wonderful other places to get a good education, and half the people that go to college, they still are not working at what they want to do. So there is no, so he was.
The pressure we put on our kids. We just had soccer practice, and she's in first grade, right? And she was playing on whatever little team over here playing. There was like a private coach. The field is covered with private coaches who are like $150 an hour, whatever they're paying.
Wait a minute. So you have the fit. Are they in a special school?
No, this is just the random field at 3:00 in the afternoon. Claire, I'm sure you know everybody. Like, they start these kids at like 4 and 5 years old. Like, Claire joined a team. Her very first team she's ever played in, but the other kids. I've been playing for like 4
going
years.
backwards.
So she was her very first year, and there were already girls who were like, "Oh my god, that kid's insanely talented." She was 6 years old. Like, stepped on it, pulled it back. I was like, "Holy shit!" But these kids are having, like, people are training them. They're being trained and groomed from a young age into one sport and just profiled into this thing. You know, it's the Todd Marinovich. I don't know if you remember him. His father tried to make him a robo quarterback. And of course, he discovered he really liked crystal meth. Does anyone know the Todd Marinovich?
No.
His father had he was like the first guy drafted, but he got in the pros and was like, no, I'm going down the meth road. Football's fine, but I'm taking the meth road.
It's really crazy, and what they put, the pressure they put on these kids, especially they're in high school, because, well, we know where we're going to go after high school, don't we? No,
nobody knows more about Claire. Claire does crazy travel. She has 2 like all-star soccer players that are traveling. Her daughters.
Oh yeah, I'm like the parent that you're talking about. But with them,
You're not the parent I'm talking about. I don't think. Your kids are just. Your kids are golden in that.
We didn't buy their talent. We didn't buy their skills. They exhibited the 3 of mine that are really physically excelling right now. The 3 of them, they're my mom is always like, stop putting pressure on them. Stop. I'm like, the perfect example, I was laughing with another dad, is Sunday. My son had a game out in Oak Park he plays for LAFC youth, and they played another team, and he played the whole hour. He was out at festival the night before till 11. So Jamie, so then I had to get him up at 6.
I saw him drinking at the bar. He was putting them back.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you don't get a game tomorrow. He's like, whatever, jackass.
Whatever, dude. So he plays this game from 8. They play 30-minute halves. So they had to be there at 8. They played from 9 to 10. 10-10 they ended. And literally the next game for the next team is starting. It's also a LAFC team, and it's also his age, 2012, just a different team, and they're short a player, and he's like, mom, please, can I play? Coach, can I play? And he played another hour in another game. And I looked at, and I said to this lady who I'm friends with, I'm like, my mom is always like, they're gonna get burned out. I'm like, they're burning me out. I'm not burning. They can't get enough soccer. They can't get enough dance.
Well, and I think exactly, you have kids that really do excel in that have a passion, that have the energy. I mean, they're meant to be that way. But there are people that are still searching, even at 40. Don't you know some adults that are like, I don't know what I want to do.
They're living vicariously through the kids. Claire's not. Claire's kids are super talented, and she is helping them.
Yes.
And she's going for it. Other people are saying, you're going to play soccer. This coach is going to train you Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights at 4. The kids are like, I don't even want to play soccer. He's like, I can see the kids out there. The kids like barely doing the drill. The guys,
the kid's like, I want to go down the meth road.
He was like, Claire was playing with ladybugs during the middle of practice. She went over.
It kills me. It just makes me feel like I just want to, look at that kid and go, you're going to be okay. And and here I had a son who wasn't good physically, who wasn't athletic, who played soccer just to get him to do exercise during it was like PE, and one of the fathers of one of the kids saw him having trouble and kind of was his his cheerleader and helped him, and and we'll never forget this guy, and I don't know what his name is, but anyway, but
I'll never forget him. I'll never forget this.
But and Max, at one point, I think Max, didn't you tell somebody I can't do it, or?
I've probably said that many times.
Okay.
I was like, Mindy, I've said that 1,000 times in my life. What are you talking about?
I probably said that many times. Is a great answer.
Usually on set, they're like, hey, can you do it this way? No, I can't. I'm not. I have no training.
And not everybody is. You can't put, especially in school. And I do feel sorry for some of the good teachers. You have too many, you know, in public schools, too many people that you have to watch. You have to give them, you know, their lesson plans that day that you probably hate, that you wish you could revise. Then you've got, you know, poor, you know, Jimmy Stewart here, who I don't know why I brought that up, who is, you know, having problems at home. So he looks like he's going to fall asleep. And then you have, you know, you look at all these people.
Jimmy
They're
Stewart?
not,
Yeah, Jimmy Stewart. Yeah,
Jimmy Stewart?
he went bankrupt.
it's called an improv.
Yeah, I didn't know that about Jimmy Stewart. I knew he wrote poetry books, and I believe he acted in some stuff, but I didn't know he had the other stuff going on.
He lost all of his money in the Great Depression. The banks
Yes.
defaulted.
That's
He was
true.
having trouble at home. You would fall asleep too.
Yeah, you never know.
Zazu still has those pedals. Zazu pedals. Look at me. I'm making angels. Hey. Sorry.
You know,
All right.
it's hard to let kids be and find out who they are. Sometimes they're lost, and sometimes you can see, wow, you'd be good at this. Right now, Max is going through this thing where he took a personality test to see maybe what kind of work he could do and find where his passion is, or make some kind of a career, because it really is hard. And I mean, it's hard for just anybody. Yeah.
I was going to ask what Max's interests and passions are.
Yeah. How did the test come out?
Well, the first thing that came out was a choreographer. Not. Max, what else was it? Oh, he wants to do a podcast. He likes to do a podcast, and he's very funny. Max did a stand-up.
What?
Max, one day, you know, I'm in Santa Monica, so West Side has this theater.
Oh yeah.
And
yes.
and I said, and he said something to me, and I said, well, what do you think you want to do? And he says, you know, I think I want to be a stand-up. And I went, what? And he was like, yeah. And I go, really? Wow. Wouldn't let me help him. The first time he wrote something by himself, I got him into a classroom. He got up and he did his set. I had certainly all my friends to come. We were crying. He was so funny and fearless because he had a hook that nobody else had, which was autism at the time. He did another one, huge. Then he kept doing, and I know that Jamie, you'll understand, he kept going to like Tuesday nights open mic night.
Sure.
And sometimes he would get picked, and he would be there for a long time. And he came back and he goes, okay, that's it. I'm not doing this anymore. And I said, that's fine. That's
It's
fine.
frustrating.
But you know what, that to me, I won't do stand up. And the fact that he did not ask for my help at all.
Amazing.
And was trained by friends and, you know, by teachers. So, you know, it's everybody's just trying to still figure it out sometimes.
You know, I'll tell you, the podcast, and especially something like what we're doing, I love doing this because it's my stand-up that I used to get up and vent, but I don't leave my house. I'm in the front room, and I'm like, I don't have to sit for 3 hours and wait for a bunch of dudes to do sets and hang out in the back of the room and then have someone come in and run the light. We come in, we do our stuff, and so yeah, he should definitely, and he has, again, a hook. A great hook that would be it's super interesting to hear all of this for us, because
he doesn't like to talk about it. I mean, he's doing it now, but he would probably want to do something he's really into ever since he was 3, wrestling, pro wrestling.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what's his passion? It's wrestling. Yes.
Wrestling and music, he really, really does like. And so even if he had a podcast on, you know, on wrestling, but he's also, my God, he's so gifted with history. He loves history, and he'll know everything about this president and that senator. But I mean, he's amazing. So it's finding again how he could put it together and work it so that he can make, you know, a living.
Why don't you guys do one together?
Well,
Mindy, did you ever do Drunk History, by the way?
No, and I wanted to, but no, they didn't call me.
Okay,
That's
well,
the
I'm
one
getting
show.
on that.
Mulligan, out of the millions of shows, that's literally the one show.
Well, no, I was going to say, I was actually wondering like how he feels about seeing you on TV, seeing you in movies.
Yeah.
But like, if I love history, like Drunk History would have been perfect. That would be a combination for both of you.
Yes. Well, we used to drink together, but he's not really drinking right now. Okay. And then, no, he, you know, I'm his mom, so he appreciates it. He'll tell me great job, or he'll always ask me that. But no, has he sat down and watched the Goldbergs? No, because that's who I am. So you know, he already sees me do all my crazy shit, and I remember reading him stories at night. And you know, and doing all the voices, and it'd go, Mom.
We've all done that.
Yeah.
Yours is way better than mine is, though.
But you know what I mean? Don't do all that. Don't. And I went, really? You should be grateful that I am doing this. And no, he would like, don't do that. But no, he likes.
I started to get lost in the character. Do you ever get lost in the characters? Because sometimes.
Yes.
But it opens on the quote, and you don't know what character's saying the quote because it'll go like, "I'm going to the store," the bear said, but you don't know that as you're reading it, and so you're reading it in a different character, and then you're like, "No, I'm the bear. I'm the bear."
He goes through puberty midway through the sentence. Yeah, I've done that.
It confuses them.
Every children's book should have to say, or they should color code it. For the parent.
You know what? That's a great idea.
When you color code the characters.
To write stories with helping, not the kids, but helping the parents read it to them.
We do the Day the Crayons Quit. You ever read the Day the Crayons Quit?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, it's a little boy, and all the crayons quit, and they all are gone. They quit, and they tell him why. Dear, I forget what his name is. You never use my color. Yes, I'm white, but it's great. And so there's 15 different crayon colors. Flesh is one, black, and you never use me. Oh, I'm brown. I get used to make bread. This is terrible. And everyone, you just get to read different. I ask the girls, I go, what's this crayon sound like? And Hannah will go, this crayon sounds like this. I got to read it in that tone. And then the next one, Claire goes, this crayon sounds like this. And then I got to read it.
I love that.
We have one stuffed animal. He came with a book, and the stuffed animal developed a personality of his own as I continued to read it. And he didn't like the way the book ended, so he started writing in the pages his own notes.
Oh,
great read tonight, Dad. I got notes. Let's meet in the other room for notes. First of all, you opened weak. I mean, if you're gonna bring it, let's stand up and do. Yeah.
My husband is colorblind, so color coding things would not help him.
No,
because he's definitely. There was a time that he came back and he's like, "Got a new bike. I got an Irish bike." And I was like, "Why is it Irish?" He's like, "Kelly Green, baby." And I was like, "No. That is a deeply brown bike, sir." Like that is, it's the hubris. Like he knows he's colorblind, and he's just like.
Did I ever tell the story of my 7th grade teacher, Mr. Woodcock?
Okay, I mean,
first
of all,
it's on the same tone. He comes in, none of his clothes match. Out of nowhere, like halfway through the year,
walk of shame.
Clothes match, like everything's just really off. And finally, we all hear he was colorblind. And he got divorced, and his wife used to lay out his clothes so the tie and the suit everything matched.
That's so dark.
He came in, nobody was wearing his clothes out. So he was walking through the closet just going, well, I guess this works. No, it doesn't work.
Jamie, there's
a children's book in that.
Oh, God.
It's about divorce, Mindy. It's a sad children's book.
I gotta tell you, you start a story with the name Mr. Woodcock. I just feel like it's gonna end in a joke.
Totally different
Gilbert
story.
was an actor with me.
I was like, oh, this should be interesting.
Wrote Mr. Woodcock, and he stole the name from me. His name was Denver Woodcock. And Josh Gilbert, my buddy, wrote Mr. Woodcock. And then I was like, I don't do that story. He goes, oh, is that where I got that name from? I go, yeah.
Oh my God, that's so great.
What happened when he was little and you were? I mean, when you're working on movies, you're gone 17 hours a day and stuff. Was it a little boy?
My ex at the time was flexible. So if I had to work, either he would be here, or I remember. This is a great story. I remember having I think I was working maybe the Grinch or something, but at the Groundlings, I think I made some kind of a statement to some of the students there. Hey, would anybody like to help me with my son, be babysitter? And I remember one girl said, yeah, I would. And I went, really? You really would? because if you're saying you will, then when I call you, you have to do it. And she goes, oh, I would. Do you know who that girl was? Kristen Wiig.
I guessed it.
How did you know?
Because I know she's
that?
Groundlings, and I know that she's the nicest human on the planet. And
Yes.
also, everybody forgets that she's from the Joe Schmo show.
Yeah, that's right. She was Joe Schmo.
Yes.
As Dr. Pat. I believe it's Kristen Wiig because
You did it.
I'm
Yes,
telling
it
you,
was
Kristen
her.
Mulligan. I'm impressed.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you,
I mean,
everyone.
that's
Thank you.
amazing. And this was before Kristen. I didn't even know Kristen Wiig. I didn't have her in a class. I didn't teach her. And they just had this incredible relationship. They adored one another. And so, it was always easy to kind of get a student or something. But if it was the great thing was I didn't work all the time. So I got a chance to help raise my son. I feel bad and I get it when parents or moms have a full-time job and blah, 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 blah. But you miss so much of some of the little things, when your babysitter says, he walked, he did this, he did that. And so I got to see more things, about Max, because he was later to walk and all of that. And but yeah, she was awesome and fabulous. And he was,
Are they still in touch?
No, really. Her life has changed so drastically. And, she has twins.
Oh, I didn't know that.
God bless her. I know that pain.
Wow.
Yes. What are you doing? Excuse me.
You taught for many years, didn't you? Do you still teach?
Yes. Oh, yeah. No, we were friends, and yes, and then, and then she, did movies and stuff, and I never asked to do it. So.
I mean, the list of students and people coming out of there is crazy. I actually was gonna try to go do Groundlings, but by the time I moved to Hollywood, I was 30. And everyone told me it was like, they go, it takes 5 years at least to get through that process. Like, I don't have 5 years. I don't have that much time.
Hazel. Max, call Hazel.
So, yeah.
Hazel, go to Max. Go to my dog. Hazel, go.
It's so funny you guys talk about that. So I got this article somebody sent to me, and the article is about mothers whose kids are grown share the biggest regrets from their early parenting days.
Oh.
Which I forwarded to my wife, and I'm not sure I should have, but I did. So it was just what you talked about, work-life balance. And they say, if I could go back in time, I would have spent more time involved with my children's school, volunteering, helping with the science fair. Because as somebody who does a lot of that, I think it's easy to go like, oh, that would have been great.
Same.
I loved it.
Years from now, I'll be like, maybe some less time at the kids' school, maybe less time.
I loved it. Well, I loved it because I got to have an eye on Max, and I really, really did love being a part of it. In fact, when Max went from elementary to middle school, and I found out, you mean that I can't help out? I can't do anything? No, they don't really, call for the parents to do that. And then I would, how about if I just sat at the front gate and had people come in? I wanted so much to do that or be in the classroom but you couldn't be in the classroom anymore. So you could do those things. Or, if it was a cupcake day or something, I would try to help. I think it was just a chance for me to see my son, and make sure he's okay and all that kind of stuff.
I did that. I went to school today. I brought those crepes. Claire and I are at the same school, and we have to do 40 hours a year. 20 hours during the regular part of the year, and then 20 hours we had festival weekend. Claire, do you want to try to explain the festival?
Wow.
I'm still recovering. I'm still seeing the Ferris wheel in my mind.
So much fun. Rides. They put tonight. It's a Catholic school. They put the rides in the parking lot. There's a Plinko booth.
Oh yeah. I was a fortune teller one time.
Oh yeah. You know what? They don't have a fortune teller.
Of course, because it's a Catholic school. That's the work of the devil.
Yes. But they also, too, the parents, a lot of them knew me or knew of me. So I got to use a little bit of that. But anything they wanted me to do, I loved that stuff. I love kids, though. I'm the one that, kids, dogs, and cats and babies. I mean, those are my favorite Instagram shots.
Today I actually, it's teacher or it's staff appreciation week for my kids' school.
Me
so
too.
Today, me and three other teachers got dressed up as flight attendants, and we pushed a snack cart to all of the teachers. And I have to tell you, it has made me, the way that they felt about these snacks. I was like, all right, this is not acceptable that they would be this excited about snacks. Why do they not truly? I'm like, why do I go on a movie set or go work at a studio and there's a fully stocked kitchen, crafty, whatever? I'm like, my goal is that next year I'm going to have the parents stock the teacher's lounge I'll assign it to a different, because honestly, why are these women crying over a bag of chips? They should have a bag of chips every day if they want.
Mulligan, that's the greatest idea you've ever had on this show.
I love it. I love it.
I mean, admittedly, the bar's kind of low, but it
might be the only idea you've ever had on this show.
I think it might be. But
also, the Sherithra.
The sheeness.
What do we call it? The sheeness.
The sheeness.
What is that?
I want to stand to pee.
We got to get Mindy. We got to get Mindy a test model. Go ahead,
well,
Jason.
I'm bringing one next week to LA. I 3D printed it, so Kate she can give it a whirl, give me some feedback.
Mindy, I don't know if this is the case for you, but I only have two sons and a husband. And so it's basically everybody can pee at any point in time on any car trip except for me. Because all they have to do is just stand up and find a corner, find a bush, find a whatever. And I was like, I wish I could attach something to my vulva area.
Because with us, it's like, mom's got to pee. Mom, we gotta pull over. We gotta find her. How's that gas station? Nope, that's not good enough. All right, let's move on.
That's my wife. My wife's like, I'm not peeing in there. My wife would rather pee the car. She'd go, no, I'll piss the car. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, you're calling it the sheeness?
I think
Sorry,
somebody suggested
we suggest another name. The sheepy. The sheepy.
Oh, the sheepy.
Oh, that makes sense.
That's good. That's good.
I said Herethra, but nobody bought that one. That was pretty good.
I said, and then I heightened. I said the Aretha Franklin.
I did like that.
Hey, by the way, our pal Dave Schrader of the Paranormal 60, one of our fave other podcasts. Love your work, Mindy. Whenever I see you pop up on a project, it brings a smile to my face. The exact opposite of Mulligan. I agree. I think Mindy's in that category of God, who else is in that category? When you see somebody with John C. Reilly, like when you see John C. Reilly, like he crushes everything. He's got so much heart, and I feel the same way. Whenever I see something in Mindy's in, I'm like, yes!
Aw, Jamie, thank you.
You're just one of those character actors.
And I think you're funny, and so I think I might have to get you to come and do a Groundling improv show.
I would love to. Yeah, I've done.
Didn't you do that before?
I have. Yeah. Back before the world ended, I did, and I really.
We can do it again.
Annie Sertze. I'm friends with a bunch of people.
Oh, Annie, yeah.
Annie's queen.
Okay.
I love doing stuff like that as well. But those are the old days. Then stand up took over, and now this is the new. This is. I think your son should do something like this. He would. I think he has such a great hook, and I think a lot of people would want to hear that. Point of view. Yeah,
he's welcome here anytime.
But I think the two of you together would be cool.
Oh, good.
All right, this will be the first episode of your show.
It's a segment, it's a supplemental, yeah.
Well, hey, Mindy, this will be Max. This will be a backdoor pilot. I think they're called, right, Mindy? Backdoor pilot.
Oh, is that what it's called?
But sometimes we'll have an episode or two with a character, and so this will be the Max and Mindy show. Mindy and Max, maybe. Mindy and Max, probably.
He doesn't want me to do it.
No, I was going to say, Max doesn't. Wait, Max, I have an idea.
No, he doesn't want me to be a part of it.
Okay, so Max, I have an idea. So are you a fan of the Attitude Era of wrestling?
There's already a podcast for that.
I know, but you could call it the Maxitude. See? I take the word attitude.
Smart call. I'll remember that.
Mulligan, look at you.
Honestly, that's exactly how we all react to Mulligan. Usually when Mulligan tells us something, I go, yeah, Kate, that sounds fantastic.
No, everybody wanted us. if you follow my my Instagram, because I do a lot of interviews with Max, and I call myself the annoying mom. But everyone's like, why can't you do this? Oh my God, I would watch this all the time. But those are little moments that you do. And it's like, I don't know what we'd probably end up fighting if we did a podcast or if we did YouTube or something, who knows? But I think he wants to.
Honestly, I mean, but you guys fighting, okay, hear me out, Mindy. What if he just told you? What if
I want to hear more from Max? I want to know who his favorite wrestler is. I need more information.
I was thinking, what if you guys actually wrestle each other? Like, what if he shows you
at the end, when we have a fight, we have to really wrestle? Max, did you hear that?
Yeah, that's a great idea, Mulligan. Yeah, that's a great idea. Well, let's talk about it.
I will go write it down.
Oh, he's busy now. He's not coming. He's done.
Okay.
He's busy right now. Yeah, he's got something.
Can I bring up the other things on this list? These are the list of things that people who are done with kids. This is what they said.
Okay.
On nutrition. How do you get, like, I'm the same. I'm like, you got to eat some vegetables. I'm like killing myself trying to get kids not to eat Oreos or whatever. And they said, I would never worry about my picky eaters. They eat when they're hungry, and no child I've ever known has died of starvation. Apparently, they haven't been out of this country. I could have saved a lot of time and worry.
But you want to do, I mean, obviously, what you don't want to do is you don't want them to have, all sugar. And there has to be, some kind of balance, because then that's all. Look, Max is a big Dr. Pepper fan. He barely drinks water, and he has he walks around with a big, the big bottle. And it's kind of like, well, I mean, he is older now, so there's not much I can do. But he's an amazing eater. I mean, Max is the foodie. I'm not the foodie, but he eats well, he eats good. He'll make his own food, and he'll eat really just about anything. So I was lucky with that.
We don't do soda. I'm not a big soda guy, although lately I have had like a fountain Coke.
Yeah, I every now and then. Yeah.
Jamie, tell him about Hannah and the Oreos today on her schedule.
What did she say? Oh, she said, what did she say?
About the Oreos. She tried to tell you that because she eats it on her regular schedule, she needed to have.
That was yesterday. So she didn't have school yesterday. So at 9:40 in the morning, pretty good. I made crepes. I make crepes. I make a lot of oatmeal. There's always fruit and berries and stuff. And so we have a pretty healthy breakfast. Eggs a lot of times. And so at 9:40 exactly, she came in and she's like, hey, I'm having these Oreos. I go, no, you're not. This is insanity. She goes, well, we don't have school today, and normally at 9:40 we have recess, and I eat my Oreos then.
Oh!
I said, yeah, I don't care.
You're arguing with her, Jamie. She's got
not
a point.
argue with that. That's smart.
Yeah, she's got the receipt, man.
She goes, they are on my schedule. It's 9:40. It was like Wapner. Like she had to watch Judge Wapner at 4:30, or the house was going to get burned to the ground.
Oh my God, I love that.
I don't have those Oreos. I'll throw. You saw what I did with the thing you squirted me in the eye. I'll throw all the Oreos out. I'll throw it out.
But don't you feel like sometimes if they can make a convincing argument, like I will sometimes say like, why don't you convince me? And if they do, I'm like, all right, it's cake for breakfast. Like
I would like to submit into evidence. Did they turn to some Southern lawyer? I'm bringing Pixie Sticks and Jolt Cola to events where we parents have to be responsible for bringing snacks.
Oh my God.
My college roommate during finals, I hadn't heard Jolt Cola since college. Every 2 liter he drank during finals week, he nailed to the wall. And then he had like 30 bottles of Jolt Cola.
He also had $300 worth of the room deposit he wasn't getting back from those holes in the wall.
That was the same Betty now has diabetes.
He does.
Oh, no.
He lost a foot, so it's not that fun. No, he didn't lose a foot. He's all right.
He lost both.
My wife, it's so funny. She'll, she'll be traveling, and so then she'll come in the one day I'm like, there's not like 3 vegetables with the dinner. And she's like, really? There's no vegetable. Yeah. Like, they only eat 3. They'll eat carrots, cucumbers, some broccoli, maybe some corn. Anything else? Anybody else?
But I don't think kids eat vegetables. I think that we have vitamins.
green beans.
Give them vitamins, but think about it. No kid loves vegetables. When they get older, it'll change. It just will.
How do kids in Japan eat raw fish and like?
My
you know what I mean?
kids eat raw fish. My kids, okay.
It goes with certain kids and from childbirth.
The interesting thing about the schedule we're on with the sports and the dance is dinner. Our big meal is between 3 and 4. Before they get in the cars to go to their sports.
Wow.
And then when they get home, like when I pick up River at 9 and the boys and I'm done here and we all, come to eat, we'll have like a small meal. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whatever, something little. But the big meal is often like 3, like when I picked them up from school today, for example, I made like a bunch of peanut butter sandwiches, a bunch of grilled cheese, open-faced grilled cheese. I put out a veggie tray with ranch and yogurt sticks.
I put out a charcuterie plate, some fruit tray.
That's nice.
I'm not joking.
With peak bellinis. Oh, the bellinis, they go ballistic for that.
Yeah.
Lunch at the ladies'
The best way to get them to eat is to put it out, because think about it, like granola bars, there's something that's like easily accessible. If they have a choice and they can grab other little things that are just out, they're going to just grab
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Jamie, listen to her.
All right, I will. I mean, honestly, I'm like your son. I hear everything. Like my wife goes,
Write it down.
Here's what else they said on learning. One woman said, I wouldn't have worried about my children keeping up with the other kids in academics, sports, and being social. Everything comes at the right time for each individual.
Yeah.
Another woman said, I wish I would have taught, and that's this one I really identified with. I wish I would have taught my children more of the basics, like how to cook basic meals, do household chores, wash clothes, for things, stuff like that. I also wish I would have taught them how to deal with stress, anxiety, and disappointments. I guess I always thought those things would work themselves out, but no, they need guidance through it all, even as adults. I thought that was spot
That's
on.
a good one.
Especially the world we live in right now, there is, so much going on. But I agree. I think you think that it's just going to happen, but it's like, I mean, look, I grew up and when I was in my 20s, I'd never done a wash before. I didn't know how to use the washer and dryer. So in teaching them these little things, it's going to be so useful. And allowance. You do this.
We have an accountant who's coming onto the show, my buddy Bob Wheeler, who's also a comic and a CPA, owns a whole firm. He has some great ideas, and he was telling me some of the things, and I was like, nobody ever taught me about money. That my father, because I didn't have it. But I have other rich friends I know now who have kids. So they're always asking me, like, hey, what are you doing with that? And I go, I've never heard of that before. What? Wow. I don't know.
Yeah.
It sucks.
You're like my pillowcase?
Yeah. Yeah. When I bartended, I used to have a coffee can full of cash and up in my closet. But yeah.
Well, teaching them giving them, an allowance, and also letting them know. And if you do extra work, you can get more. And then finding out, let's see. Yeah. Extra work. Max every now and then does extra work.
Claire, do you do allowances for the kids?
No, but I do job options. So I'll put index cards up like, okay, who wants to clean the art supply cabinet? That's $5. I put $1.
I love it.
It's a job board. And I gotta say it works. My oldest, who's 14 now, she's got 3 jobs. She makes like $250 a week cash. She's like making $1,000 a month at 14. So she's, you know what I mean? It works. So no, I don't believe in allowance, because you live here. I pay for it. You need to make your bed. That's it. I don't pay you to do that. But if you want to help out in extra ways, I'm totally willing to pay you for that, because that's
great.
Work I would either have to do myself.
I agree with that.
Or
do you guys remember for a while where I was paying my kid to take a poop?
Yeah.
Has the feces well run dry, Mulligan? Or like what's going on?
I'm also not a fan of candy. Like at school, my daughter goes, "Oh, I love." She goes, "I love my teacher. He gives us gummy worms when we do stuff." Right? And I go, "I don't." stars, like stars on a sheet. But I'm not a big fan of the candy treats.
No, that should not be a treat. That should just be, on your dying bed.
I mean, because like that's along the lines of what I feel like about allowance is like then you get to be an adult and you're like expecting these things just for showing up and being human. No, you have to earn the reward. You have to
I like the job board.
I agree.
A bunch of boards, and you let the kid on a Saturday. You go, this one pays $5 because I did that in college. They had a job board. I went down to the hall, the Union Hall, and there was a job board. And then I went to some woman's house, and I had to smash all the pieces of cement off of the bricks for like 8 hours in November, freezing cold in Boston for like $30 or something ridiculous. But I learned a valuable.
$30 was a lot back then.
I was getting an education. I was like, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life.
Yes, job board, very successful, especially in the summer.
Great idea, Claire.
That's a great idea. It's a great idea.
Did you work when you were a kid?
Me?
What?
No, Mindy. Were you acting right out of the chute? I looked at your credits. You have a BJ and the Bear on there.
You know what? I don't think I did that. I think somehow my name is in it because I don't remember doing it, and I've never seen myself in it. So I think that's a mistake.
Where did you have your upbringing, and like what was that like? Because I imagine that either you were your own person or you had very supportive family around you that was like
very supportive family.
Oh, I love that.
Very, very. I was raised in Miami, Florida, and my mother. Everybody was when I took classes in acting, they all were fine with it and great. My biological father was a singer and an actor and a comedian. And I started doing it in, I want to say in 6th grade. I think the first show I did was The Mikado in the 6th grade. So I thought, wow, I really love doing this because you can be somebody else. You don't have to be yourself, because I was very insecure. And but they've always been, I've never, it hurts me when you hear, parents like, oh, come on, you're not going to be able to make any money off of that. And I've always had this, definitely the support of them. But it really came out of just being shy, and then finding out, oh my God, if I act like I'm somebody else, then that I'll be able to get through in the world.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's like a mask to hide behind. I know.
Absolutely. Yeah, because then every time somebody would go, oh, Mindy, just be you, I really would just be stumped. Well, I don't know what that means. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and your characters are so strong, and I mean, especially like being, Austin Powers. Was that written? Had you already done that character and he saw it, or was it written and then you kind of made that character a choice?
Yeah, I think so. I might have done something, German or something, with that feel to it, but it wasn't. I saw the script and auditioned and, put my thing to it. And, who knew? I mean, I know he liked me, and I know that he would love to have me in it. But I also, when I auditioned, I also had to go through New Line and people that, because I was, they were all the people that were chosen were people that had a successful career. And then it was just me. So I kind of, they took a chance on me.
It's so funny. I just was watching Pam and Tommy on Hulu.
Yes.
And apparently Pamela Anderson was up for what ended up being Heather Graham. Like they had a whole part of the story.
Oh my God, that's so great. Oh, I didn't know that.
And it was like she found out she lost 2 jobs in one day, and they kept calling it the Mike Myers James Bond spoof is what they were calling
it. Oh, how funny! I didn't see that part. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah.
What are you like when you're out in the world? If people don't know your real name, are you most often called Frau? Like, do they call you?
No. Well, I mean, they might say, well, they'll say, were you in Austin Powers?
Yeah.
So I'll get that. But I think when they say my name, you're Mindy Sterling, right? I'm like, oh my God, how did you know?
Awesome.
And sometimes I'll have a mask on and go, how do you know it's me behind this? Your hair.
I mean, it's a pretty iconic. It's an iconic part.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's it like for Max when you get recognized out there? Is that embarrassing to him, or is he cool with it? How does that work?
When he was younger, he didn't like it because he took me away from him. So when we would be at a museum and somebody would come up to me, you could tell, yes, that's her. He didn't like it. He did. Now he's cool about it. He's fine. He enjoys it. He doesn't, it doesn't bother him. Right, Max?
I mean, I'm with you at convention.
Oh, that's true. When I do Comic-Con conventions, he sits there, but it's just my mom. It's not, but he's very proud of me at the same time. Yeah.
That's the podcast right there. 2 different rooms.
He doesn't want to do it with her.
Oh, 2 different rooms.
I'm going to talk him into it. He's holding out for more money. That's all. Just make him. He's just being smart. He's negotiating. That's all.
Yes,
all right, here's what somebody said. Here's what one of the moms said on home life. I spent so much of my free time cleaning my home and making sure it was picture perfect.
Yeah.
If I could go back, I would have just kept my home a bit messy and spent the time playing with my kids. Your children won't remember how spotless the kitchen was, but they will remember the quality time they spent with you. I agree with that.
Yeah, but come on, are all you guys? You just seem like there's certainly a balance, but some of us are clean freaks.
My wife is a bit. She needs it. Where I'm like, look,
absolutely.
I don't like to waste time, so I'll clean it once. I'm not going to clean it 4 times in the day. Like the kids are going to destroy it. You clean it once at the end of the day or the next morning or whatever. Once a day. That's it. I can't.
Or you put up a job board and they clean it.
Put the job board up.
Job board.
Mulligan, what was your idea? That was really good too. We got to remember these ideas. These are good ones.
Yeah, they are.
Here's another one. The woman says it's okay for children to be bored.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Because they have to learn. If they're constantly stimulated by their phone or by this and by that, they're never going to be able to just figure out, just be one person, just not be constantly doing things. There really has to. That's where they come up with ideas. That's where they have imaginations. But we're in a world that here's your iPad and you want my phone, and it's constant. Yeah.
We booked camps. Like my wife, I went to one, I had a bag and I finally got my parents to send me to like one soccer camp in my whole life for like a week. My kids are going to camp almost every week this summer, a different camp.
My kids are going to sleepaway camp for the first time.
Ooh.
I'm going to sleepaway camp for a week, but that's a whole nother story. I'm going to golf camp the first week of August.
Are you?
I'm going to Bandon Dunes. It's like this crazy golf, and I've been put through the ringer. I got them at camp that week. I got other people to pick them up, drop them off, and it's crazy.
Well, we're all entitled. We do need, some adult time. Yeah.
Well, especially, let me ask you this, Mindy, because you're separated now. You guys are divorced. How was it? Was it just brutal? Trying to, a lot of our fights are about the kids all the time. We fight about the kids, and it's like it's just so frustrating sometimes.
Well, we never fought, so he basically just didn't say a whole lot. So no, I think the one thing that we were connected with was about Max. We both agreed. We agreed. We don't talk now, but we agreed how we wanted to raise him. We agreed. There wasn't anything that I felt that there was a conflict in how we raised him and all of that. So that for us was never a problem.
Yeah.
Other things.
No, wait.
Okay. She starts unrolling a scroll. We're like, oh, okay, we can. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because I look back at my parents, and there was just like fire and then ice. But it's crazy. The people who don't fight are the people who scare me. Like the people who were so in love, and I see their like Facebook posts, 12 years of pure happiness. I'm like, they're not going to make it.
No, I don't think I think most people do fight, and certainly healthy. And sometimes you wonder, well, come on, say something. But, and also too, I had one child, you guys have, it's certainly is, more to deal with. I mean, yes, Claire. And, but you know what I mean? And at the same time, they also can play together. So, when I hear having twins sometimes is better than having one because they really connect, no?
That's what we thought too when we had that. We got to get a playmate, and what we really got was a sparring partner. That's what happened.
But Jamie, I got to tell you, I actually have a rank for the pandemic, and I would say the people who had it the worst, without a question, are single parents, and then closely after single parents, single children. Parents of single children had it the worst.
Yes,
because they had nobody to play with. So that parent then had to, and then that adjustment to now you have to go back to your peers because school's opening again in 2021. That was like my kids were just like, bye. Like they could not get out of the house fast enough. But like I had friends who had to be the playmate of their child the whole pandemic.
Oh, I felt so bad for them. Yeah.
Oh, just hysterical to leave and go to school.
You know who else had it bad? Narcissistic people deep into their 50s who had 2 grammar school kids. Didn't go great for them. Not gonna lie to you.
Do you know anybody in particular like that?
I've been banding around, but I can remember 1 or 2 people.
Okay.
People who probably should never have kids in the first place. They chose to late in life and then made a terrible decision, not knowing a global pandemic was.
Yeah, that's so funny. I almost thought you were talking about you, but you're probably not talking about you.
No, I'm not narcissistic.
Oh, okay. Sorry. It just seemed like a lot of the details seemed okay. Cool.
Anyway, here's something else I said. I would have been less serious and more fun. I would have said yes more. I would have listened more. I would have enjoyed it all more. From the poopy diapers to the extra hugs at bedtime, it doesn't last. Again, it's like guys when they come back from war, they go to the VFW and have a couple drinks and they go, remember that we had, Saigon wasn't that bad. No, it was fucking horrible. It was horrible.
I also like that you clearly are talking to Boston soldiers coming back.
Oh my God.
Saigon wasn't that bad.
Down in Din Pan. What?
I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not gonna miss poopy diapers. In no way, shape, or form am I gonna miss changing twin diapers.
My buddy just had another child, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's so great!" And I was like, "Ugh, nice." Yeah. Like I love where my kids are at right now. 1st and 3rd grade's gold. Hannah's gonna be in 4th grade, and it's getting
wow.
Up, and I'm like, we went to the festival. I was working a food booth, and girls who were like either 8th graders or 9th graders are walking up. I'm like, no, go put more clothes on. I'm not serving you. Like they were wearing bras and baggy pants, like low cut. I was like, what's happening?
That's the look. That's the trend.
What is it, Claire?
It's the 90s again.
It did feel like the baggy pants with the bra.
Yes. That's what my girls wore there, both of them.
Here's the big difference. Back in the 90s, really sexy to me. I was really attracted to that vibe. It was super cool. Now I'm like,
you're not now.
No, I'm not. I'm creeped out.
He's like, now I'm really, really attracted to it. That's what I meant by I'm going away to camp for the summer.
I fear for my children. My children are bright redheads.
Girls. I think that's a tough one.
I mean, luckily I'll be long gone by then anyway. So. What? How long am I supposed to stick around for this thing? I think I got it. I got the picture and cut.
Yes.
We need Jamie. We got it. Moving on. That's it. You don't need it. No, we got it. We got it all.
Thank you.
I was such a stickler about my children not coming into bed with my husband and me when they needed extra cuddling or was scared. I was adamant that they stay in their rooms and in their beds. If I could go back, I would let them lay with us, sleep next to us, cuddle with. I'm crying because I feel like she's crying as she writes this. Sleep next to us, cuddle with us when they needed it. I would do anything to have those hugs back.
Oh.
That is like so sad. That's the saddest like confession I've ever heard.
I don't know. I gotta tell you, I think that if you want to sleep with your kid, you go in your bed. But I think there has to be a real clear line about what the parents' bed is about. I feel like they're like kids. Like if your kids are growing up in a house where there's 2 parents, I feel like they got to know that they are not the source of they're not the center of the world. I feel like that's an important lesson to learn. I will sleep with my kids get scared or whatever. I'll go sleep in their bed with them, but they do not come into my bed.
I mean, I think
Okay, I'm a
that's
bad
really
person.
smart.
Great.
No. I think that. Well, I do think that's really smart because I think that marriage takes on such stress and expectations, and you get caught up in being parents, and I think that a lot of that sort of with my marriage kind of disintegrated when Max came in the picture, because I definitely I adored this kid, and I so enjoyed being a mom. I worked hard, I couldn't do it myself, and to have this kid was like really important to me, and that's where I think we kind of grew a little bit apart. And but I do remember that Max was in his room a lot, and I don't remember bringing him to the bed with me. I understand how some people, can, but I kind of like what Kate said, that probably used to set that up and then to cut that off at some point will be really hard.
I also think I need to remind myself, because let's be honest, is there anybody here who likes their either current or former partner better than their kid? No, I would pick my kid every time.
My wife for me many moons ago, she's like, all the attention and emotion I needed and I got from you, I don't need it anymore.
I don't need it. I'm good. Yeah. I got my favorite people now.
And I tell people that, and they're so upset by it. And I go, that's the most honest thing I think anyone's ever said, where you're like, yeah, but I mean, when you're dating or something, it's the two of us, and then all of a sudden this other being comes in, and all of a sudden, I mean, for both of us, really.
Of course.
Yeah, and all of a sudden we're co-CEOs of this corporation that we're trying to run. And we don't have the exact same plan, and it's a mess. But,
well, that's where people, they grow and they change, and there's this thing, you get married and you're a couple, and then you have children and you're a family. So give yourself a couple, be alone for a while until you bring a child in, because I'm telling you, it completely changed for me, in so many ways. And I became more secure. I became more, protective. I became just, stronger. And because nothing was going to, and especially with Max having some special needs, it was like, okay, well, we're going to work this through, because, this kid is not going to be made fun of, and blah, 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 blah. And so you take on this protectiveness, and sometimes it's a little bit of the couple kind of go away.
Yep. I honestly don't know how any couple survives.
It's hard.
I'm not joking. I'm amazed when people are like, oh, it's better than it was before. Really? Better.
That's a whole nother podcast, Jamie. I have to unfortunately run because I've got to go pick up one of my children.
Oh,
we need to wrap. Honestly, let's wrap the whole thing because it's 8:30, and
let Claire go first though, because she's got to actually.
We're gonna let Claire get out of here.
Yeah,
Claire,
because she's got to.
Nice to meet you. I already followed you on Instagram. I'm going to send you a DM. You're amazing, and Jason and Jamie. You're my girl.
Claire, you're one of the first guests on the Mindy and Max podcast. I think they're going to have you.
I'm in from different rooms with two different cameras. That was the genius, part of your revelation. You guys don't even be at different homes. Then he won't get so sick of you. All right, bye.
Bye.
I obviously think Kristen Wiig has to be the first guest. Hello.
I think she's right. Where you guys, I think you're in separate rooms with the door open like that, and you're on your own screen, and you're talking to him on the screen. And every now and then you go, "Hey, what the?" I think that's the hook. I mean, it's really.
By the way, did he ever watch Buffy? Did Max ever watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Max, no.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say he probably would have really been excited that Claire.
That was Claire's big show. It's Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
What is it?
What's Buffy the? It's a show. It was on the CW for 14 years.
Wait a minute, she was in it?
She was like the main villain.
Yeah, she was
at the last season, right, Jason?
Was that one of them? Was that Seth Green?
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, Seth was on the show.
Yeah, Seth.
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
That's right. That's right from Austin Powers. Yeah, I know Seth because done so many robot chickens with him. He's the nicest cat on earth.
Oh, the best.
He's on your podcast too. The Mindy and Max podcast was
yes.
And I think he's a wrestling fan too, if I'm not mistaken.
I think he is. Yes. Yes.
We do have to wrap. I have to. This is what happens every week. We get to a certain point, and I'm like, I guess we should.
I thank you so much. There's nothing more than I love to talk about my family. I love to talk about personal things.
Yeah,
and sometimes my friends have to go enough. But
we're the same. I mean, that's
I'm help you with this picture.
Look at that bubba.
I know.
I will tell you, Mindy, sometimes, even this weekend, I thought about, I was going to write something. And the whole point of it is that I regret having children, but not for the reason that anyone thinks. And it's because, I've always said they become extensions of my nervous system. And anytime they hurt any pain, I feel so much. That, Claire had a soccer game and she got subbed a little more. Then she had to play goalie, and she was like, "I didn't get to play front center." And I was like, "I know, it's so hard." And I was getting angry at the coaches for not moving him around. I was like, and I had to control myself. I was getting really pissed about something bad happening to which wasn't bad at all. It was not that big of a deal.
But your child's upset. You don't want to see your child upset. You don't want to see your child confused. It does. It breaks my heart when Max brings up something, or we have this fight and we just are not listening to each other. And there's just so much. So I get it. And you know what? Thank God that bothers us, as opposed to, oh, fuck you. Get out of here.
Tears when she got out of the car this morning for she was just having a bad morning and she was crying, and I brought her grapes. I felt bad that I couldn't sleep last night. I shattered my mind I was just shattered that thing. And then I was like, oh, what's wrong with me? I can't control this thing.
That means that you're a good daddy.
It means that you're actually a terrible dad, but you're capable of being a great dad after you're a terrible dad.
I don't think any true words have been said.
The building blocks are there.
I think that sometimes I'm like, am I fucking these kids up? I don't know what I'm doing.
No.
The one person was like, I said, I wish I was more serious or I wish I was more goofy instead of serious. I kind of am the opposite. I wish I had been maybe a little more serious with them from minute
Jamie,
one.
I feel like the bottom line is I think we all fuck our children up, and it's just not the same way that our parents fucked us up. I think that I'm like, oh, I'm not going to do that thing that made me feel bad that my mom did to me. But I don't think of course, I'm in my own head. I don't know what, I can't be in their body too. So I don't know what I'm doing that's messing them up.
She would.
Yeah, I agree with that entirely, Kate. I'm definitely doing that same thing. You and I have talked about that, where you feel like you're trying not to repeat the sins of the past. You don't want to bring that hurt.
So you overcorrect. And my mother, by the way, grew up in a family she grew up in an alcoholic family. She was the middle of 7 kids. So what she did was she did not have an alcoholic I did not then have to grow up in an alcoholic family. But I grew up in a woman who needed to control every single thing because her upbringing had been chaos. So then now I'm sort of like, well, I'm not going to control every single thing, but what am I messing up? We'll just, time will tell.
Well, and it's just whatever, is going to happen if they can tell us, when they get older. But it's not enough to love them. But I think too, the great thing about Max is he will always say, is there anything I could do for you? I love you, Mom. He comes in every night and he kisses and we say goodnight. In the morning, our ritual is, how was your sleep? Good. How about yours? Good. What's your day like? There's this kind of thing. Now, granted, it's only just 2. There's just 2 of us, but there is a little bit of codependency. I admit it. And, but I'm so honored to be his mom.
Yeah.
And, so I'm sure there's certain things that, look, he thinks I'm the most annoying person in the world.
Yeah, there you go.
So I guess I'm doing something right, Max?
Here's the thing. And as parents, as kids, we all thought that about our parents. And then we become parents.
I told them.
Like, how do I make my kid think I'm the coolest guy on earth? And you can't. Like Keckner tells the greatest story about his 5 kids. He's like, I go, well, they find you. He goes, they don't find me funny. They can't. They go, stop it. Stop it with your little jokey jokes. We're sick of it. Like breaking the dude's heart. But
I think the coolest is you take them to a concert, you do something for them that both of you. We both went to see Alice Cooper.
Oh, fun.
That's a good
because
one.
we both liked Alice Cooper. Do you know how cool that was? We were at the Hollywood Bowl or the Greek, and both of us are singing Alice Cooper songs.
Oh, that's
cool.
awesome.
Right, Max?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's very fun.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So
Find
funny.
something. Yeah.
Well, it's funny. It's great to hear when you get to a certain age how there's such a camaraderie. And sure, it's, there's fights or whatever, but it's true.
Believe me.
I look forward to that day, but I don't know about you guys. I know Jason does. I worry about my kids. Hannah, today, we got back. They were fighting in the car on the way home from soccer. And so we go to get out. Hannah won't get out of the car. She's sitting in the car. I go, get out of the car. Come on. She's like, won't get out. So I locked the car shut, went in the house, closed the garage. Mm-hmm. And Claire was losing her mind. Like, she's gonna die in the car. I go, she's not gonna die in the car. But she sat in the car and we waited each other out and she won. Because 30 minutes later, she fucking kid held out for 30 minutes in the car.
Yeah. She's a G. She's a G.
She was comfortable. Yeah. She got to be by herself. She's taking care of herself.
Yeah. I went and I snuck out the front and I snuck around. I tried to scare her and banged on the window. She barely flinched. She looked up at me. I was like, all right, fuck off. And I opened the car.
I was going to say, did you smash the car to bits, Jamie?
Don't smash! And then trying to control it. I'm like, God damn it. I should have never had kids. This is
thank you so much, you guys, for having me. I've really, this has just been super fun.
I know. Mindy, thank you so much. Listen.
Come back anytime.
Come back.
I would love to. I would certainly love to. And
I feel awkward asking people to come on, and then they come on and like, we have such a blast. And I'm like, we love you.
Most of the time they will. If they like to talk about their family and about being a parent or a person or, those are the people you're going to grab. So, you would feel it. And if they don't want to come on, well, they're missing out because it's so delightful and fun to just let go and say these things and, and learn. I love the board thing. I mean, come on.
Yeah. It really helps other people because everyone's going through insanity. And when they see other people doing with the same stuff, it makes everyone feel better. So, hey, where can we find you? Your Instagram account is you and Max.
Instagram is Mindy Stir, MindySter. I'm barely on Twitter. And then I think Instagram is the best thing for me.
Well, please do Mindy and Max. Max on the show sometime, and we'll have he can come on the show and.
Okay, oh my God, you would love having him. He's awesome.
I know. I was going to say to you,
a kid that's gone through childhood and now is a young man. Max, would you do that? Be a guest?
I'm sure. Why not?
He said, sure. Why not? That'll be your first.
You know what we should do? We should do instead of like the newlywed game, like mom and
yes.
Will you separate the two of them and you ask them questions and you see what they think about?
Yes. Oh my God, that would be awesome. Yeah. Max said he would do it.
Oh, I love that.
Everybody.
I just sorry, real quick. I just need to know, is Comic-Con happening this year? Will you be there if Comic-Con's happening?
The one in San Diego?
Yes.
You know what? I haven't gone for several years.
It is happening.
Okay. It became icky. If you went upstairs, nobody really knows you're there, and you're only there for a couple of hours a day. So I go to I'd like to be a part of Comic-Cons and sign, but I'll go usually out away from California.
Gotcha. Okay.
We'll be there.
All right, everybody updated. Hey, tomorrow I think we're doing a May the 4th Be With You show.
Yes.
We have the Mandalorian. My buddy plays the Mandalorian, and he's coming on the show. So we're going to do a little Star Wars stuff for tomorrow. So we'll let everyone know about that. Thank you to everybody for coming in and joining us.
Guys.
Thanks to Mindy Sterling. Go Google her and look up and definitely check out her Instagram. The stuff with your son's fantastic. So we love you.
Thank you, guys.
Nice
Later.
to meet you, Jason. Nice to meet
Nice to
you.
meet you.
Bye, guys.